Hey guys, thanks for coming out for 4 simple but highly effective lead magnets. I actually just got back from a walk and it's a beautiful day here. Perfect blue skies. Somebody was cooking bacon. Like it smelled like it was enough bacon for the entire neighborhood. Unfortunately, there was only enough for that family. At least that's what the dad said who answered the door. Then I kept walking past a rose bush that it was like walking through perfume. So I'm pretty excited just about the day, but I'm super excited about this content because our lead magnets are our attractional device. It's the thing that causes people to take a step with us. Now, they can land on our blog and they can read articles and do some things along those lines. But usually, what we're trying to do is drive traffic to an opt in, and that opt in is our lead magnet. It's the thing that we're giving them to make an impact or to make a difference in their life. And so, we've got to make sure that we've got that in play, and we've got to make sure that we've got the best in play. So here's some mistakes that are super common. Number one is that there's the magnet and a market mismatch. It means that it's not ideally set for the market. And what you want is for people to come in with a specific issue, a specific problem, or wanting a specific answer from your ad or from your email or whatever traffic source you're using, and that they feel an immediate alignment, so that the ad actually matches very much what they're going to see when they land on the opt-in page. And sometimes, and I'm sure that you've seen this before, somebody runs an ad, you get to the opt-in page and you're like, well, what's this? This isn't at all what it is that I wanted. In fact, this morning I was reading an article on a blog and their pop-up did not match the article. It was in dissonance to the article because I thought, wow, okay, if I'm going to do these things to get in shape, the pop-up was not about getting in shape. I can't even remember what it was. I just remember Xing out super quick because if they had had a pop-up that really matched the article that said something along the lines, hey, are you looking to get in shape? Blah, 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 blah. I would have been so apt to opt in because the match would have been so clear. Secondly, the lead magnet's not connected to the core offer. What is it that you want more than anything else for your leads to buy? Now, it's not your $7 offer, and it's not even, just something to make sure they purchase. Often that's what we do. Let's get this lead magnet in here and let's hopefully lead them to a small purchase that leads to a larger purpose. You guys know the process. But instead, if you can make sure that your lead magnet actually matches your core offer, whatever the main thing is that you want more than anything else, if it's becoming a member of your membership site, if it's your 4-week course, if it's your coaching program, you want to connect it to your core because that means they're going to be educated from the very beginning about what it is that you do, and even if it's subtle, what it is that you're going to want them to do. So you want your lead magnet to be connected to your core offer. A lot of times lead magnets are just too hard to chew. They're too long. There's too much to do. And I bet that you've had this happen. I know I have. I'll opt into somebody's challenge and I'm super good for 2 days out of the 30 or 2 days out of the 7. And if they watch their opt-in rates and their open rates and their click-through rates, they're going to see about 80% on that very first challenge. And by the end of 7 days, that's going to be down to about 30%. What happens? It's too hard to chew. It's too much. So our lead magnet does not need to be something that is too much. It needs to be very brief and very tight. It needs to deliver the promise. So when we get to the lead magnet matrix here in just a bit, it'll show you how to create a lead magnet or decide on a lead magnet that is both high conversion, but also high consumption, that they will actually use it. And then number 4 is often it's a step and not a journey. And our lead magnet should be leading more to a journey than simply them taking a step and that's it. Our lead magnet is an introduction. It is not the finish line. It's simply getting up to the starting line. And so when we picture our lead magnet this way, it's going to give us a lot more focus, and it's going to give us a lot more ability to do the things that we really want to do, the way that we want to do them, so that we're having a maximum impact and that we're creating maximum business. So your lead magnet is a delivery method for showcasing your excellence and gaining trust and making sales. Your lead magnet is a delivery method. It doesn't matter if you do a one-page PDF, a checklist, a video. It's only a delivery method. So people will say, well, what's absolute best as far as the delivery method? There's a lot of different dynamics that go into that. So before you worry about the style of method, thinking about, does this showcase my excellence? Does it gain trust? And will it make a sale? Whether it's immediate or whether it's down the road, does it have all of the dynamics in place that make people want to turn to you for their answer? They go, wow, if I'm going to do this, this is the person I absolutely need to be working with. Your lead magnet is a delivery method for highly qualified leads for specific offers. So you're not just going to have one lead magnet if you have multiple offers. So I work in 4 different niches. I'm not going to use the same lead magnet for each one, right? And even if I've got divisions of my niche, I need to make sure that I'm doing that a little bit differently. For example, in public speaking, there are those who are just getting started who want to get over the fear of public speaking. So that's one lead magnet. In fact, I've got one that's called the 30-second fear fix. Secondly, there are people who just want to learn how to design a speech and to get through it. So I've got a product called the Perfect Presentation, and the lead magnet for that is called Engage. I forgot it, didn't have any notes here. Engage, how to avoid becoming a human tranquilizer. So that's at the very beginning of that. Then I've got a product called Paid. So it's for people who actually want to make money speaking. And the lead magnet for that is my $1 million keynote checklist. So you want to make sure that your lead magnet gets highly qualified leads for specific offers. Now, even when I just said that, some folks were like, oh, that sounds exhausting to create all these lead magnets. It's really not, if you will make sure that your magnet is super brief and that it leans on your strength. So a lot of my lead magnets are just videos or a one-page checklist, and that's it. So I can shoot a video on my iPad for 5 minutes, upload it to YouTube, and it's done, right? It'll be very specific to the lead that I'm trying to attract, and then the delivery of that will give them exactly what it is that I offered in 5 minutes or less. So that ends up showcasing my excellence, gaining trust because they get to see me, and making sales because I'm seeding offers within that. It's super subtle, but I'm seeding even within the lead magnet. So here's the lead magnet matrix. I thought about having each one of these like pop in as we go through it, but I think it's just a little bit easier to see the entire screen. So with your matrix, when you're deciding on what type of lead magnet to do, it's going to depend on your industry. So let's start at bottom right. Toolkits and ebooks are easy to consume, but there's really a low desire for that. Back in the day, people loved ebooks, but what's the last ebook opt-in that you got that you actually went all the way through? Probably not many. I can't remember the last one that I did. Toolkits, I don't use at all. So they tend to be easy to consume, but there's a low desire for these on the market, and they also lead to a lower quality lead because an ebook is usually just an impulse. So people will get it. The impulse is they'll hit it real quick, and that's it. If you're going to use an ebook, make it a strong ebook filled with affiliate links. That whatever it is that you're teaching, that they've got to use these resources to make it possible. The same thing with the toolkit. Here are the tools. And it's hard to convert on these because if people either already have something they like or they think they can find it less expensive, They won't do it. So there's low conversion in here. It's a low quality lead. Now, bottom left, this is a little bit harder to consume, and there's a lower desire for this, and you'll have a low conversion rate. The quality of the lead will actually be pretty high, but you'll have a low conversion rate on this. So a white paper, this means that you're working with companies, possibly the Fortune 2000, and you've done a white paper on a specific thing. If I were you, I would go ahead and target all of the upper level executives. That's who I would focus on with a white paper. Free consult. You see this all the time with people gaining coaching clients. How many of these have you done personally? You've probably seen dozens of these offers. Now, because of my personality, I'll never do that unless I actually know the person very, very, very well over time and feel like, okay, I can actually trust their advice. But I know that that free consult is not a free consult. I know that it is to qualify me for their program. And I just don't really want to go through that. I've got a low desire to get on the phone with someone and to be sold to. That's Paul Evans. You may love it, but I'm like, I don't really want to get on the phone and listen to somebody's sales pitch, even though they call it a free consult. So these are low conversion. You're not going to get a lot of people that are going to come to your page from an ad or from an email and automatically do the consult unless they know you. Like if you email your people, hey, I'm doing free 15-minute calls all day Tuesday, you'll get probably every space taken up. But if you run an ad on Facebook that says, hey, I'm doing free calls all day Tuesday, just 15 minutes, I'll answer any of your X, Y, and Z questions, chances are you're not going to get very many because they don't know you yet. So it's tough and it's hard to consume, hard to get people to show up. Webinars and video can be very hard to consume, but they lead to high quality leads because there's an investment. At minimum, it's a psychological investment. When you sign up for a webinar, it shows that you have a positive intent to wait in order to gain the information. You show a positive intent that you're willing to wait in order to gain the information. So that's a little bit different than the person who's just like, yeah, I'm going to opt in and get this thing immediately. You also have to set an appointment. When you come to a webinar, you set an appointment and agreed to show up. Now, most people today feel like there's going to be a replay or they're going to be able to watch it at their leisure. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that the appointment is important. And so there can be a lower quality conversion for webinars as well, but there's a high quality lead there. These are people who are willing to say, I really want to see this. Videos as well are going to give you high quality leads because people feel, super connected to you. The challenge is they're a little bit harder to consume if they're too long. I like them to be 15 minutes or less. And most of mine with the best conversions are 5 minutes. However, I've got one video up for public speakers that's 15 minutes, and right under it I have a link that says, hey, do you want more videos like this? Click here to join Engage. Every single month you'll get blah, 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 and that's it. There's no big long sales page. They click and join for like $10 a month. So it's super easy process as far as sales, and the lead magnet actually demonstrates the membership itself. So if your lead magnet is an actual demonstration of the membership, it can make a big difference. Then easy to consume and high conversion, templates and cheat sheets or checklist. Checklist, people opt in for those, at least right now, like crazy. People love a checklist, even if they don't intend to use it. So that's why it's high conversion, but it's over here on the low quality lead side because people grab it, but it doesn't mean that they're actual action takers. So the webinars and the videos are some of your highest quality leads that lead to your actual highest conversion sales. Not saying that's the lead magnet you want to set up because you may not be comfortable with it, but I do believe that if you want high conversion and high quality lead combined, you'll do a webinar, you'll do a short video, or you'll do a 1 or 2 page PDF in one of the things that, in fact, the first thing that we're going to focus on here with the 4 types of lead magnets. So the seed magnets. So these are the 4 types of lead magnets. They're going to give you I'd say high conversion and also are going to lead to a higher quality lead. So a seed magnet is a case study that showcases results that occurred because of you. So when I'm selling my story crafting public speaking course, it's all about taking a person's story and turning it into a keynote. Not teaching them how to be a storyteller, like you're going to get up and talk about you for an hour, but how to tell your story and weave points, strategic points in that the audience will connect with. And if they will go and apply them, their life will be changed. So the case study that I use is of a lady named Shauna that I worked with her on her story crafting. And she went from, within 1 hour, she went from being so nervous, so scared, to having a 5-point outline built entirely around her story. She was filled with confidence, and where all of her thoughts were scattered before, at the end of 1 hour, she was ready to do her keynote, and she did it in front of 5,000 people about 2 weeks after that. So that's a case study that shows somebody taking their life story and making an impact and having a lot of confidence and a lot of content because of her working with me. So your seed magnet basically says, this didn't just work for me. This worked for a client, and you can be a client too. That's what the seed magnet does. See, here's the thing. When it comes to our markets, most people think that we're magic. They think that we've got insights and we've got abilities and skills that they don't have and they never will have. I hate to say that, but that's what people think. They feel like that we're something special. We're leaders in our market. So they'll think, well, I can't become like them. So take somebody like John Maxwell. They might say, well, I don't know that I'll ever be a John Maxwell, but he's got the Maxwell team where he trains you in all of his techniques. You get to use his content. But what they do is they don't say become like John Maxwell. They highlight case studies of those who have joined the team and are now getting to speak everywhere, now are getting to coach everywhere. So that people are coming in not identifying with John, they're identifying with the client. But they know that John was the magic that made the client be able to reach that. What people really want to know is, I'm glad that you got a product, but will this work for me? So a seed magnet showcases people like them, like your market, that gives them the belief that if it worked for that person, it can work for me too. So your seed magnet is a case study that shows results, and it's because of you. This does not have to be high level. It doesn't have to be a 20-page document. It could be as simple as just 2 pages, a 2-page PDF. Name of client, maybe you had the picture of the client, where the client was, what you used. This is your formula. This is your framework to your product, your core offer, your membership that move them from where they are to where they wanted to be relatively quickly because of their association with you. Seed magnet. Number 2 is a deed magnet. This is a tutorial or it's software. It's useful, but it's incomplete. A deed magnet actually shows people how to do something, but there's got to be a purchase or they can't do it. How to make a food blog in less than 20 minutes. I love this because there are a lot of instructional tutorials out there on how to make a blog, how to set up your blog in 20 minutes or less. And usually it is an affiliate link to Bluehost. So I've got videos like that as well. What I like about this is that the market is so targeted. How to make a food blog. That word food makes all the difference. How to make a food blog in less than 20 minutes. How to make a fitness blog in less than 20 minutes. How to make a ministry blog in less than 20 minutes. You could go out and make basically one tutorial of how to set up your blog, one tutorial, and then you could target market after market after market after market after market because the tutorial doesn't change. The rules don't change for anybody across the board. So a deed magnet actually shows people how to do something, but there must be a purchase or else they can't use it. So this works great with softwares. It's useful, but it is incomplete. Works great with hosting, works great with anything that you have within your membership site that they can only access if they get into your membership site. So a deed magnet, if you've got a course, a deed magnet could be the very first module or a portion of the first module. So they watch that, but they don't get to go any farther. They don't get to go to step 2 unless they purchase and move on from there. But I think it works best with tutorials. Number 3 is the need magnet. What is it that they really want? You want this to give them an immediate flush. They want to immediately feel unstuck, and they want a quick answer. So I'm using a fitness example here, P90X equipment requirements. So the ad might be something along the lines of thinking about P90X, but not sure what equipment is required. Click here to access the P90X equipment checklist immediately. So they click, they've got to opt in, and now it shows them exactly what they need. But what do they need most of all? They need P90X. So there's your affiliate link. Boom, that's going to happen. Or when I'm giving away my checklist for $1 Million Keynote, it gives them my entire 9-box framework of training someone how to become a $1 million business, $1 million speaking business off of one keynote. But the truth is, they're not going to have 90% of the boxes checked on the list. They're going to have about 10%. How about 10% and 90% will be unchecked? So what do they got to do? They've got to get the program if they're going to do that next. So with a need magnet, you want to pinpoint something very specific that your people want, that you can provide the solution to or an answer to super quick. And this is when I like using a checklist. It's super easy. Now, again, this is going to have high conversion, but it's not the highest quality lead because people just like checklists and like to see where they are. Here is the key. The key if you're going to use a checklist. You want to make your checklist so that 80% of the boxes remain unchecked. Most people that I know give a checklist so that people can just go down the list and do the things, and at the end of the list, they check off the entire list and are like, wow, I did it all step by step. Opposite. 80% of the checklist remains incomplete and undoable unless they take the next step with you. It still solved a little bit of the problem or gave them a good assessment of where they are, but it doesn't give them the total solution. All right. So need magnet, if you're using checklist, 20% can be checked, 80% cannot. And then the read magnet. This is a little bit different. So it's a detailed article. It builds your credibility, and you're probably going to need to use retargeting. And you'll see what I mean by that in just a second. Basically, now people can opt in for this, and I have people actually opt in for this article, even though they could search for it and get it for free. Build, architect your economy. Everything you need to know and do to launch your online business. This is a 7,000 word article. Most articles are around 500 words. It's a 7,000 word article. It shows people step by step how to get started in their online business, has affiliate links. I don't think it actually has any links into the very bottom of my program at all, but it's super detailed, and it also shows that I actually know what I'm talking about. So this is a giant article, and I don't give it away as a PDF for a couple of reasons. Number one, people download PDFs and never go to them. Number two, if they read this and don't have access to it again on their hard drive, they're going to be looking for it again. Now, what was that article by Paul? It said build or something, had all those steps in there for me to do, and I didn't do them. Well, where was that? So they stay in my list, probably hoping I'm going to bring it back up again, but it also gets them to my site. Now, the reason I said retargeting is important, if you're using Facebook ads, you need to make sure that you're using the Facebook pixel and creating a custom audience from that pixel. so that you know everybody who has come to this page or come to your website, so you can follow them around Facebook and they keep seeing your long article. So they can opt in for it, or you can just do retargeting. But if they opt in for it, it's super valuable, right? But they don't get to download it and they don't get to own it. They have to keep coming back to your site if they want to access it. I think that's really important as far as a lead magnet goes. So let me go back through those one more time. A seed magnet is a case study based on results that you got for a client, someone like the market, and it's because of you. A deed magnet is a tutorial or software. It's useful or incomplete. It's useful but incomplete, and it's something that people can only utilize if they make a purchase. The need magnet is something that gives people immediate access to knowledge or even a checklist. They feel unstuck immediately. They get a quick answer, but it also reveals where they are incomplete and where they need to take this next step. And then a read magnet is a super long article that keeps people coming back to your site over and over and over again because they never get to download and actually own the magnet. They can only access the magnet through your site. All right, so that's it. 4 simple but highly effective lead magnets. Make sure that you choose the one that you want to use. Make sure that you use the matrix to figure out which level you really want to focus on. Do you want a high conversion, high quality lead? Do you want a low conversion but high quality lead because of the person that you're going after? It's probably one of those two, and that's probably it. All right, that's it for the presentation. And I'm going to move now to the Q&A. If you've got any questions, type those in now. Any Q&A questions, type those in now. All right, we had tons show up while I was actually training. That's awesome. Any questions about any of the lead magnets, about the matrix, or any of that? I don't see any questions coming up. Oh, here comes one. Okay, so what type do you think is best for a career coach? I think that a checklist, a need magnet for a career coach would be best, because what you're basically doing is you're going to help them locate the career, right? And that can either be one that they're going to do on their own, or they're going into a particular field. So if you've got a checklist and you know that here are the essentials for locating the best career for you, and you've got a list of, say, 30 to 40 elements, and you know that 30 of those 40 will remain unchecked, and then at the bottom it says, here's your assessment. If you've got 35 to 40 checked, great. You're on a straight line for your career path. If you have X to X checked, then go check out X, Y, and Z. If you have, more than or less than 20 checked, if you have less than 20 checked, then set up an appointment with me immediately. Maybe this is where you do your strategy call, or where you do your consulting call, or where you send them straight to the product. Is the nurture sequence different for each magnet? Gillian, that's a great question. Here's what I tend to do. I tend to have a different nurture sequence for each magnet, but it's very brief. And then I move them to my general list for that particular niche, because I like to move them through a sequence and then just they enter the general population. Because if I'm doing a nurture sequence for those who want to learn to speak, that's a different nurture sequence than for the person who is wanting to get paid to speak. They've been speaking. They just want to get paid now. So I try to keep those pretty tight. I don't usually put more than 7. I think my maximum is 12 messages in a sequence. Pamela says, is one of these better than the other for someone just starting out, brand new in business? Does one build authority better than the other? So let's talk about that just for a second. What does build authority the best? when we meet someone, when we felt like we got to know that person. So authority is probably best built, and this is not a lead magnet, but it's best built off like a book. Like somebody ordered your Amazon book, that'd be high authority real quick, right? So if we're not able to do that, how else did they really get to meet you? So if anybody listening feels comfortable with video, I think it's one of the fastest ways to build trust and for them to really get to know you and build authority quick. If you don't feel comfortable on video, now hear me. I'm not saying use video. There are people all the time that are like, hey, you need to use video. And then I'll watch that person's video. I'm like, why'd you use video? You like terrible on video. And they'll say, well, the guru told me to use video. So just make sure that you're focusing on your strength. Here's another great way to build authority really quick. It's by telling your story. So if you say, and this would be a great combination for the seed magnet, you tell your story and then how that forced you to figure out what had to be done for the solution, and then you created the solution. But then you move to the case study where now your solution actually works for somebody else. And so now you've built authority in that you are the thought leader because you created the process. But the process doesn't just work for you, it works for others as well. So that'll build your authority also. And that can be done in a couple of pages. A lot of people, when they write their story, they're thinking war and peace. I think it just needs to be super simple, makes people emotional quickly, connected quickly, because we're connected to emotion over logic and points. So we do something quickly emotional right out of the gate and then move it in. Cassandra, another great question. Is there a significant difference between authority and credibility? Yes, I think there is a significant difference. And I need to write this down afterwards because I'd like to build a matrix out on this. Authority is a person is in that position maybe because of what they've done, what they've accomplished, and you absolutely believe that they're a great, let's say, salesman. But you don't trust them. They're not credible. You don't believe in their credibility because even though they've got authority, they've got evidence that this really works, and they got power in this that really works, but they're not really credible, and you don't really feel like they're authentic. That might be a better word. So we'd have authenticity, authority, credibility, and probably one more in our matrix. But when we look at that, there is a significant difference in those two things. Authority can simply be positional, but credibility is a little bit more relational, and it's a little bit more about how much you trust that person. There are plenty of people that have authority that I don't trust, but when they're credible, I do trust them. I think Cassandra could have been my southern. There's not a C magnet, it's a seed magnet, SEED. I can't even believe that you guys think I've got an accent. I've gotten rid of it, living here in Bama. Any other questions today? Type them in right now. The matrix, combining webinar and video. I've always seen that as my roadmap to make things happen. Good. Yeah, I think that would be a great way for you. I'm going to try the need and the seed magnet. What do you think about the trend towards content upgrades for every blog post? I don't think you can do it for every blog post, Pamela. What I would do is that I would do a major blog post, maybe even like a read magnet, that if you upgrade, you would have several upgrades within that one post. I would make one killer post with 2 or 3 possible upgrades within it, and then just drive crazy amount of traffic to that. Hey, Carol, glad you made it in. Why is a checklist so good right now for people, do you think? I think a checklist is, okay, this is a tough one because good for people. I think a checklist is best for us if we set it up right as the seller. I think the checklist is best for us. Whereas I think People like checklists because they're lazy. They want a checklist so that they can just go down it and check off some stuff and feel validated and feel like they're on the right track. Or they'll often just download the checklist and it makes them feel great about their intention. I downloaded this checklist. I'm killing it. That's the way people process. It's insane. So a checklist is an easy conversion tool because people look at it and have the intentions of actually doing the checklist. Also, they don't feel like they're going to get trapped in anything, and they feel like it's going to be immediately helpful. For us, if we can get 80% of the list unchecked, it helps us the most, because what are people going to do with it? Because after they leave, so many boxes unchecked, you should know, if you're good at your market, you're going to know the ones that are the most unchecked. And you're going to send out the next email that says, hey, I hope you enjoyed the checklist. What I found is that about 80% of the people never check box number 5. And here's why. And so what are they going to feel like? That they're not a loser. They're just in one of the crowd. They're like everybody else. They're not alone. So it helps them out a lot. How do reports serve a purpose as a lead magnet? What is the best lead magnet that you use in your opinion? Reports are fine. I think that it can showcase your credibility and people get it. It's a little bit meatier and they feel like, it's pretty good. There was some good information in there. And if it's actually got some steps to take, a report can be good, but people can also get bogged down in it. And people can read 2 or 3 pages and lay it to the side. And if they're laying our stuff to the side and not going through it, then what's their impression of us? Oh, that's that person that I downloaded their stuff and never went through it. Or do you want it to be, that's that person I downloaded their stuff and used it immediately. It was awesome. So reports are a little iffy. As far as my best lead magnet, my video, Engage, How to Avoid Becoming a Human Tranquilizer, has great conversions and great conversions into actual sale. For my online business stuff, my build article, my read article, read magnet is by far the best. And it's long, but people don't mind scrolling down a page and they get to see the entire element of what I do and what I stand for. And I'm really setting the tone for what I'm seeding in my read magnet. Is I'm setting the tone that I don't believe in overnight business. I don't believe that you can take shortcuts. And I don't believe that you can just simply go and use somebody's product and it's magic for you. That I think that each person's business is built around their own skill set and personality. Do you think a 3 or 5 part video is more effective as a seed magnet? If you have a high-end expensive product that you're going to be selling. If you've got a high-end expensive product that you're going to be selling, I think a 3 to 5 part video is really good. Because what are you trying to do there? You're trying to showcase a lot of people whose lives have been changed, because you're overcoming the investment holdback, the investment wall. You're selling something for $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 or beyond, then they need to see all of the elements that are going into it. If it's maybe $1,000, maybe a $97 a month, maybe $500 or below, you can sell that really well on a webinar, and you can sell it really well on a sales page. But I cannot remember any 3-part videos that I personally watched. I'm usually sold more by sales copy, but that's me. So if you watch those videos and love them, then that's who you really want to attract. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out today, and I will be getting the replay up, and you should receive an email on that. But as always, success is not an accident. Be blessed.